Schoology questions and all those kind of fun things will funnel through me. Also, before we continue, Ms. Lee, in an attempt to continue doing what I was doing this morning, I'm going to post a link to a Google form inside the chat. So if you are looking to get your students' parent access code, please fill out that form. It will not be done as quickly as I did it this morning, but I will get you your students' parent access code as quickly as possible. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Moody.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I was able to capture some folks so they can join us this afternoon. I am Gina Moody. I've been with the district for, I think, 22 years, almost 30 years as an educator. I am the supervisor of professional development. I'm a math teacher at heart, once a math teacher, always a math teacher. And so I'm just excited to have some colleagues who know Schoology. So I'm here as support, but also as a learner. And I'm also a parent who uses Schoology because my child is in a Delaware school. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, of course, Mr. Eric Evans.
Good evening, parents. My name is Eric Evans. I, like Ms. Givens, am a teacher at Gauger Cobbs. I'm an 8th grade ELA teacher, so sorry, math people. I have 5 children. They all attend school down in Middletown, but they are on Schoology as well. So I get the unique perspective of Schoology from the teacher as well as parent as well. So this will be a very informative session for you guys tonight. So enjoy.
All right, and then we have our interpreters, Ms. Jamie. Thank you so much. So we're going to get started. Like I said, if you have any questions, please make sure that you refer those questions into the Q&A or the chat. We have Ms. Givens and Mr. Evans will be monitoring the chat for us to ensure that we can get those answered in a timely fashion. We do have a lot of attendees, so we will try to answer them as quickly as possible. But please bear with us again, as we do have a lot, and we will try to answer as many as we can. All right, we are going to get started. So I am going to share my screen. We are going to start with Schoology. When you are going into creating an account for your child in Schoology, you want to start with the general Schoology website. I know that we said to go in through the Christina website once you have an account, but to simply set it up and create it, you're going to want to go to Schoology.com or just Google Schoology, and you're going to want to come to this page that you see here. By the way, we do have these directions in a step-by-step format that we will be posting, so don't worry about having to frantically write them down or anything like that. We will post these to the district website in an easily accessible place for anybody to use when you would like them, when you get your parent access code. So once you're on the Schoology.com website, you're going to go over to the right-hand side, and you're going to click the button that says Sign Up. When you hover over Sign Up, you're going to see a tab, and you have the option to sign up as an instructor, a student, or a parent. You are going to choose Parent. When you click on Parent, you are going to get a screen that looks like this. This is where that access code that you're going to get from Mr. Terlecki or your school is going to go. You're going to type it in exactly as you see the access code that you are given. Then you're going to hit continue. And just like with any accounts that we're creating online these days, you're going to enter information as your first name, your last name, your email address, and then you're going to create a password for this account. Please know that we don't store this information. So just like with any account, please make sure that you put your password and your email that you use for this in a place that you're going to be able to access it and remember it. The name that you put down for your first and last name is what is going to show up on your Schoology account. And once you put all of that information in, you will get an account that will look something like this. You will see when you log in that in the top right-hand corner, you should see your name next to a blue circular button. It should be however it is that you typed your first and last name in. Since I kind of got started on how to set up the parent access code, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to ask Ms. Givens and Mr. Evans, are there any questions that we need to address to the whole group?
We just want to make sure we're adding Kirk to the form. I figured you were on that, Mr. Terlecki. And then parents were just wondering, Ms. Lee, what is the benefit of having their own login versus just their students are the ones doing the work? So what is the payoff for them to have a login also?
Completely true. Your students are the ones that are doing the work, but this gives you a little bit of an overview. So then you don't always have to rely on your students to log in and show you their account. You can log in from any computer or wherever, your phone, and you can just kind of take a bird's eye view and check in on them to make sure that they're doing their assignments, submitting them on time. You can check their attendance, you can check their grades, all that stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. Mr. Terlecki, did you have anything to add?
I was just going to, there's a couple questions that are coming through. It does ask for email addresses on the form. It is the one that you will be easiest to check. That's where the access code will be sent, unless I saw someone said that their students' teachers have already sent them. So just wherever you need, wherever you'd like me to send your student's parent access code, I will send it.
Can I also add, as a parent, having my own code, I don't want to touch my child's Schoology page because I don't want to hit a button that will submit something that I shouldn't. So I don't want to, as Miranda said earlier, like mess things up. I can kind of just view what's happening as opposed to clicking through and potentially sending something when I didn't mean to send it.
Exactly. And the other thing is a lot of teachers will set certain assignments up that you must view an assignment before you can move on to the next one. So if you're logged in as your child and you're the one viewing it, it's going to check it off. So the teacher thinks that your child viewed it when in actuality, it may have been you just kind of checking to see how they're doing. Whereas with this parent account, as we're going to show you, it's a bird's eye overall view. And you can't accidentally click anything because you are just viewing it. So those are the differences between the two. Thank you so much for everybody who's entering questions. Thank you so much for our panelists who are helping to monitor those questions. Okay, so back to the presentation. Like I said, when you log in to your parent Schoology account, at the top right where you see your name, this is the generic account. You will not be able to see any of your students' information because you are signed into your specific account. Not going to look at students' courses until you toggle down to them. So next to your name, you have a drop-down arrow. When you click that arrow, it will show all of the students that you put in an access code for. Each of your students require a different access code because it's linked to a different set of courses, different teacher, possibly different school, but every student is different. So every student has their own parent access code for their account. So again, when you click that drop-down arrow, you're going to toggle down to your child or your student's account, and you simply click their name. When you click their name, that gives you a bird's eye view of exactly what they see. And another way that you will know that you are in your child's account is you will see this light blue banner at the top with a picture of an eye, and it will say you are viewing as your child's name. So that's another reminder that you're not in your account, you are not in your child's account, you are simply in a view only version of the account. And just like your students can see, you can look at all of their courses, any groups that they're a part of, and you're gonna wanna look at grades. Move this down real quick. I'm gonna show you the grades feature. When you click on grades, once your students get started, you'll have a little bit more information. This is a test account, so we just put a little bit in just to kind of show. But once you get in there, you'll see it a little bit as the year goes on. When you click grade report, it's gonna pull up a box or a page that looks similar to this. Your child will have all of their courses listed where it says Sandbox Section 1. That means it's a test course. So we just created just for this purpose. But your child will have their reading class, their math class, any music classes, whatever their classes are that they're taking, they're going to be listed right here. And with that being said, you can then click into each of the classes and you will then get to see how your child is doing in that class and how your child's teachers are breaking it down by assignment, by category. It'll be broken down like that. I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna ask Ms. Givens or Mr. Evans or Mr. Terlecki, are there any questions that we need to address group-wide?
I see a lot of people asking again about the codes. So Mr. Terlecki posted a link in the chat box and we can put that in again. If you click on that link, it will take you out to a Google form. And when you fill that out, we can look that information up for you, or you can contact your child's school or teacher if you know who that happens to be at this point, and they can get that to you also.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gibbons. And again, thank you to everybody who's using our Q&A feature or our chat feature. Back to the grades. Like I said, if you click on them, it will show you exactly a breakdown of how your child is doing. So you get a general view of, so you're not surprised, just like as in-class learning, you're not surprised with how your child's doing, or if you have any questions, you can refer to this. If you want to download it, it will download as an Excel. So if you want to kind of keep track on a weekly basis or however it is that you would like to do it, you can download it and save it. The same is true for attendance. So you have a icon for grades, and attendance will show you the exact same thing, except for an attendance feature. Same thing, this section will show all of your child's classes. So the reading, math, any classes that they are in, it's going to show listed here, and you would simply click on the class. And it will tell you how that child is doing for that class. How many times they've been absent so they didn't log in or weren't doing the work. How many times they were late to it. And if it was an excused absence, very similar to in-person learning. Very much like the grade feature, you can download this as well and save it if you would like for any reason. Again, that is at the top when you are viewing as your child, and you click on grades. That is how you access either of these reports. Okay, we are going to move on to courses. So
Miss Lee,
yes.
can I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
We did have a question about grades. Someone asked if this grade book will replace HACC, the Home Access Center.
Mr. Terlecki, I'm going to direct, or Dr. Moody.
So I can answer that. No, the Schoology gradebook is there. It is an access point for students and parents, but the official grades will be reflective from HACC. So always check Home Access for the official grades.
Thank you so much. Any other questions about grades before I move on?
Ms. Lee, can I just do like a real brief overview of where we are?
Absolutely.
We've been seeing a lot of the similar questions rotate back through the chat. So again, parents, what you are getting when you get a parent access code is access to the overview, or as Ms. Lee said, a bird's eye view of your student's Schoology account. It shows whatever coursework is there from any of their teachers. You are able to see how much has been completed, what still needs to be completed, and a current grade as far as Schoology is concerned. The reason that we are bringing this up, it is a good way to stay on top of what your students are doing in this virtual learning. Your student will have their own access to Schoology. You are just getting a I'm keeping an eye on you type of access so that you can also see what they are doing. So I hope that that kind of clears up any of the confusion that some folks may have been having with some of the questions in the chat.
May I address a question that I saw come up? That's a new question. Is DAP using Schoology this year?
Hello, Mr. Evans. I'm in the middle of research, getting that answer for you.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody that chimed in. So we're going to move forward from grades. Again, when you're viewing as your student, you can see what they're seeing. And we're gonna move over to courses. Right now, your child may or may not have courses assigned to them in Schoology. It just depends on where each school is in allowing them to be published. So don't panic if they're not. School doesn't start until next week. So come next Tuesday, they will definitely all be published and everybody will be ready to go. But again, when you click on courses, when you are viewing as your child, so you will see the bright blue banner, you will see all the courses that your students are assigned or attending. So when you click on the course or the individual courses, you will see exactly what your students see. Most parents, they like to check on student progress because it gives a quick snapshot of how their child is doing. So if you click on the student progress box with the green check, this shows you a general overview of how your child is doing. Your child's name will be listed here. Their percentage of overall completion will be here. And then it breaks it down by whatever assignments, by weekly assignments, or however their teacher is setting it up, it will break it down over here. This is where I'm going to default, like I did before, to Ms. Givens and Mr. Evans. Coming from a parent perspective, would you just talk about a little bit where you find on Schoology to be the most helpful from a parent view? Go ahead, Ms. Givens.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I personally, I have 3 children in the district, so when I log in, it defaults as me, and I have to do that drop down to pick which child I'm looking at, which is very nice that they're not all intermingled there. But I use this upcoming calendar. I typically check Monday morning to see what assignments are coming up for the week, what things are going to be needed to be turned in. And that drives our dinner table conversation. I saw that you had something due today, or, oh, it looks like you have a big project coming up. How's that going? And then if it's something particularly for my elementary child, I may go into the folders then and look to see what that assignment is, because being in elementary, she needs a little more support with some of the work than my high school students do. That calendar is my go-to.
And I'll show exactly where that calendar is that Ms. Givens is referring to when we get back into the parent screen. Mr. Evans, from your parent perspective?
I love being able to see the progress of where my students are in completion. I like being able to open up and see, you know, okay, they're 50% completed of their assignments. And yeah, I'm a calendar guy, so I love that calendar as well. Knowing, you know, being able to see that, oh, the teacher posted an assignment on Monday, or there's, hey, you have an assignment coming up on Thursday. It's very, very helpful and very handy from a parent's point of view, being able to now plan my week and say, you know, okay, you have a math test coming up on Friday. It's Tuesday, we need to study. So it's a great feature to be able to, you know, like Ms. Gibbons said, that's the first thing I'll click on.
Thank you so much. When you are in the individual courses, if you want to send a message to your child's teacher, over here on the right-hand side where it says admin, those are the teachers, or typically going to be the teachers. So you can send them a message. Same for your students. They know how to use the Schoology messaging quite well. It's a great way to communicate back and forth between student and teacher if they have a question or anything like that outside of a Zoom class or Schoology conferencing class. So this message feature would be very, very helpful. Ms. Givens, Mr. Evans, Mr. Terlecki, is there anything that I may have missed in the overview of just the courses that you would like to add?
Oh, and it just disappeared. From a parent's perspective, it does show due dates, correct, for the assignments?
Mr. Terlecki, I see you shaking your head.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Okay,
it
good.
does.
Yeah,
When the teachers put them in, correct?
Correct. The teachers do have to have a due date assigned to an assignment, but as long as there is a due date there, the student and the parents will see it. And also from the parent end, an important note is that if if you look on the right-hand side when you log in, you will also see any assignments that are past due or late from your students. So just some good pieces there to keep an eye out for.
Thank you so much. And we're going to do that. We're going to go back to the parent version so that you can see exactly the calendar and that you're talking about.
And
So-
one thing while Ms. Lee maneuvers back there to just as a reminder to all parents, it's great for you to be able to see this. I know that at the end of last year, we had some confusion with our elementary students, with parents logging into Schoology to see, and then the student not being able to submit. The one thing that we want to make sure is clear is that although you will be able to see what your student sees, only the student through their Christina account will be able to submit work. So please make sure that you are expressing that to your student. If they think that they can just log in through your account, they cannot. They can see what they owe, but they won't be able to actually complete the work.
Thank you. If you want to go back to your account, so you can see that calendar that Ms. Givens and Mr. Evans and Mr. Terlecki were mentioning. Again, on this right-hand side is going to be one of your best friends in Schoology. Next to the bubble, that's going to list either your child's account or your account. You're going to click that drop-down arrow. And when you're going to click the first name, which should be yours, and you're going to go back to your account. This calendar over here is exactly what they were talking about, where it will list the upcoming assignments and all of the information pertaining to that when your teachers enter it. So then you can kind of keep an eye on that. And like Mr. Evans was saying, kind of like make a mental checklist and use those as dinner conversations as Ms. Givens does if you so choose. When you are in your account, if you see here this bell, those are notifications. So that's also a great way to kind of stay on top of when things are being added to the courses or anything is done. This notifications, it will just kind of pile on, and then you can kind of go through and see anything that has been updated for your child's courses. This message or envelope is where you can send messages, or where your students send messages back and forth between other students or staff and students, however they would like to do it. But we're going to go now and we're going to show you how to change your settings in your account. So if you would like to change something so you're getting more emails sent to you to send you notifications or less, this is exactly where you would do it. Again, on the right-hand side next to your name, going to be your best friend. Click that drop-down arrow, and you're going to go all the way down to where it says Settings. When you click Settings, a new page is going to pop up. Your account settings is just what you entered in, but you're going to go to that middle button where it says Notifications, and you're going to click Notifications. This is automatically set for email first and foremost, and here's where you can change notifications for a whole bunch of things related to Schoology. So if you would like Schoology to send you updates via email about when updates are posted to the course, you simply click on, and it will happen immediately, and you will start getting those emails. You can get it about course comments, comments on posts, when anything is created for a course, and when anything is overdue. All of these are options when it comes to courses that you can receive notifications on. Now, please know, students have more than one course in Schoology. It's not just they're getting notifications for one course, they're getting notifications for all of their classes. So know that if you have more than one child especially, you may be a little bombarded at first with the notifications, so you can easily toggle them on or off as you see fit, but please know this is the space and the place that you will do it. I'm going to ask Ms. Gibbons and Mr. Evans again, from a parent perspective, what do you find to be the most beneficial in terms of notifications to turn on?
I have on, in that top academic section, everything except for materials overdue. And I have also turned on my text message function. So I've downloaded the Schoology app to my personal cell phone, and having both the text messages, the email, the app, it just makes it very redundant. So I can look when a message comes through and see, oh, there's something I need to deal with, but I can't deal with it now, and that will go away. But when I get home or have time to deal with that thing, there's still a notification on my phone. So I remember, oh yeah, I need to make sure I talk about that tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, how about you from your standpoint?
I have the same things turned on. I do like the which one was it? Comments on my post. I do like that notification as a parent because I like being able to see who's commenting and what they're saying once my child has posted. I just like that security and that feature, being able to know exactly what people are saying, especially the teacher. That way I can have a conversation with my son or my daughter and say, oh, I noticed that your teacher said this to you. Tell me more about that. So, I mean, in terms of that relationship building with your son or your daughter, it's a great dinner time conversation. Other than that, yeah, I have notifications coming to my cell phone, my email, my iPad. During the school year, I'm dinging all day long, between my students as well as my own children. I have everything pushed everywhere, like Ms. Gibbons said. That redundancy is wonderful, wonderful idea.
Thank you. So again, if that is where you want to do it, and here on the right-hand side, just like Ms. Gibbons and Mr. Evans mentioned, is where you can set it up for your phone as well, or your email is what is automatically created in the notification section. And again, that can be found when you go to the right-hand side under the drop-down arrow, and almost to the complete bottom where you click settings.
Ms. Lee, can I butt in for a second?
Absolutely.
There is a comment in the chat about the Schoology app looking very different than Schoology on the desktop. It does. It looks very, very different. There is limitations to the app. Students can still do a lot of things. They can still submit stuff and type and things like that. But yes, the Schoology app does look very different than you see on the desktop.
From a teacher or parent perspective, for any of our panelists, what do you find to be more helpful? Does it really matter? Which would you recommend?
For a parent, the laptop or computer. I like having the app as a teacher because on the go, I can see something real quick and I can shoot an update while, if it's 5 o'clock at night and I'm at the grocery store and I just had an idea. But yeah, for a parent, I would recommend the desktop or the laptop.
Thank you. Ms. Gibbons, what would you say?
So I really like to have notifications come to my phone because that is with me all of the time. But if it's something I need to look at more than just, oh, there's a new assignment on, I'm going to go to my laptop. I cannot read some of these high school essay assignments or the PDFs that the elementary kids get. There's just too much on it to read on that little screen for me.
And I just logged into the Schoology app to see all of my son's courses and everything. And yeah, I mean, it's there, but the desktop version gives a better view. So it's just a matter of how easy you like to manipulate that. Yeah, it's just too much sliding all the way to the right to find the deadline dates. So.
And on just the technology end of things, the web app, the phone app, as everyone is saying, is great for portability, maneuverability. It's great for that quick response type stuff. But if you really want to get the full experience that you're supposed to get not only as a student, as a teacher, but as a parent, we always recommend utilizing the computer app on one of your web browsers.
Thank you, everybody, for those comments. The last thing we wanted to go through tonight is how you want to add another child. So you may get a parent code for one of your children, but then you need, as we were saying, you need to go and add any or all of your children onto your account. So again, on the top right corner, you're going to click that drop down arrow, and in the middle, in the blue plus sign where it says add child, you're going to click that. And here's where the parent access code for that new child that you want to add is, where you would simply type it in here. Type it exactly as you see it, and then you're going to click use code, and that student will now show up on the right hand side, right over here underneath your list of students. I'm going to go back to the home screen.
One important thing to note while Ms. Lee moves on is you, in order to add a new student, you always must go back, toggle back to your parent account. So often we get caught looking at our student's account, seeing what they have, and then are like, oh, I want to add my other student. And then we don't realize we haven't toggled back. And if you don't toggle back, it will not allow you to add that second or third or fourth student, depending. So please just make sure you go back to your original account.
Thank you very much. Anything that I missed, Dr. Moody, anything you wanted to add, or Ms. Givens, Mr. Evans, Mr. Terlecki, about Schoology from a parent perspective?
I would just say, when in doubt, contact the teacher.
Very
We're
true.
always here.
Very true.
I would suggest parents just allow your children to, once they log in and they create their account, allow your son or your daughter to just get in and kind of explore and click on different things, and it'll help them get used to it, rather than at the last minute waiting for your son or your daughter's teacher to explain it. You know, this kind of gives them that preparation, and you know, they're going into that school year like, oh, I already know some of this stuff. You know, I'm kind of fancy. So allow them just to play around with it, and they'll be okay. It may seem overwhelming, but it really will go smoothly for them.
Same for you as a parent. Take the time to kind of go through once you get your parent access code, and kind of look around and get comfortable with switching between your account and your children's accounts, and that sort of thing. So when you're in there from a parent, as we've been saying, you kind of have that overall view, so you can't really mess anything up, but it's a great way to become familiar with it, so you know exactly where you want to go, because we all are short on time. So then once we get into the school year, it'll be a little bit easier for you.
And I think go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just saw this in the Q&A and I wanted to answer. So someone asked, can we sync Schoology with sibling accounts that may be outside of the district? We have seen issues where that will not sync. So you may need to use a secondary email address for each student. We cannot say for sure one way or another, again, because of some technical tweaks that happen within the systems, that they will line up. So you may have you may encounter an issue where you do need a secondary email address.
I'm glad you answered that, because I was racking my brain, because at one point I did have my son and daughter in 2 different districts, and I could not remember. I could not remember. They spent all last year in the same district, so maybe I just forgot. So I apologize. Anything related to specific needs of your child, whether it's a 504 or IEP, or just a specific need in general, I do ask that you reach out to the special educator, the general educator, as well as the administrator. Not because those 3 things rhymed, but but those are the 3 people who I'll ask that you would reach out to, just to make sure that your specific question is answered. I don't want to give a blanket statement, not knowing all the generalities and specifics that you're referring to. So I'm not being remiss. I'm actually just want you to have the right answer from the right people.
Thank you. Are there any other questions that we could answer as a whole group? Again, parent access codes are coming. So I know that this was an overview and you may not have your parent access code yet, but they are on their way, either from Mr. Terlecki or from your school itself, or your children's school itself. So once you get that, and then if you have any questions, you have a wealth of people to reach out to that can support you in creating that parent account and getting your parent access code and that sort of thing. But any other questions that we can answer, Ms. Givens or Mr. Evans, as a group? Maybe we didn't answer. You good? Anybody in the panelist group have any final statements or thoughts that you'd like to share with our families attending?
I did see one last question that popped up that I could answer. There was a question about if there are two parents and they both want access, do they each need their own account? That technically, no. If you share an account, that's fine. But if each person does want their own account, you can share your students' access codes. They work one and the same with each person. So just wanted to answer that one.
Yeah, same here. That's how we do it. We actually share the code, but he has his own as well.
Good to know. Did not know that.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for attending tonight. Hopefully we were able to ease a little bit of anxiety, answer some questions, and I know we'll get those parent access codes out to you within due time. So then everybody will be set up. But please reach out if you have any questions, and we appreciate your time and your attendance, and we hope that you all have a nice evening. And thank you very
Thank
much,
you
everybody.
all. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, guys. Have a great school year.
Yeah.
Different, but it's still going to be great. I am speaking it into existence.
I agree. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
You too.